I have a lot of amazing niche fragrances, and if you follow along on my channel, you'll know that some of my all-time favorite fragrances are in fact from niche brands. A lot of them are going to be out of frame, but you can just kind of look back behind me here and you can see that there are some back there, and then again a bunch of creeds and just a bunch of other random miscellaneous stuff that you can't see on video. And that's not me trying to say, oh, look at the stuff that I have, because everybody knows that every fragrance reviewer has niche, expensive fragrances anyway. But the point of me saying this is that even now, I still wear designer fragrances more. It's just the fact of the matter. When I'm going and selecting my fragrance of the day, most of the time I'm on my designer section and I'm picking out a designer fragrance, and sometimes even like a clone or an inspired by. I don't know why that is. I think part of it is because I'm still inherently cheap and I feel as though I'm wasting my niche fragrance by just wearing it when I'm not really going out and doing anything. If I'm just hanging out, sometimes it feels like a waste, even though that's probably not the correct mindset to have, because I'm enjoying it and that's what matters. But that's just part of how my brain works. Not only that, but the versatility, the utility of designer fragrances oftentimes are so hard to beat. And when it comes down to me just going out and wanting to smell good, I'm reaching for my designers. And here are some of the ones that I often kind of grab for. We're going to get things kicked off with Dior Homme Intense. You can tell by the condition of this bottle, it's had some usage. I've had this, well, this particular here is my first bottle that I purchased. Of course, over the years, I've bought a few other ones of different batches. For example, this is a 2017 bottle, and I probably got this somewhere around that time period, maybe 2018 or something when I bought it. A little bit of old stock there, but had this one for obviously quite a while. I love Dior Homme Intense. It has the iris, this nice, beautiful iris, a little bit of a musk mallow or ambrette note, essentially giving off a little bit of a chocolatey feel. So powdery, sweet, the slightest bit gourmand from that chocolate. A little bit of lavender, but that's definitely not the key player. This is not what I would consider to be an aromatic scent, although it does provide just a tiny bit of a freshness. It's sweet and powdery and dusty all the way through. I've been drawn to this one since the beginning because of the fact that it is unique and it does stand out a lot. Aside from a couple other fragrances like Gentleman Eau de Parfum, Valentino Uomo Intense, and so on, that are kind of trying to take a bite out of this and then reimagine it. Aside from things like that, there really isn't anything else like this. Those take that and do something different with it. And maybe there are a couple of clones that get you pretty close, but especially when this first was launched, it was one of a kind. It was following after the original Dior Homme, which used the iris, just of a fresher variety overall. This one is more of a nighttime feel, more of a date night type of scent, just again sweeter, and I love it. Love wearing this stuff when it's cool outside. It's perfect and it's very comforting as well. All right, sticking with something kind of in a similar time period here in terms of launch year or launch date anyway. It's the original CH Men. Now I don't remember when this came out at first, but I know it's been around for a while, and I know that when I was starting out in this hobby and, you know, kind of starting to look around, Dior Homme Intense was at the top of the hype chain, and this one wasn't too far behind, along with CH Men Privé, which is discontinued. This one, CH Men the original, has sugar, grass, and leather. Talk about a very bizarre note breakdown, but that was enough to get me to want to purchase it. And that's kind of probably how a lot of people felt as well. Such a bizarre mixture of notes, and you know, not only that, the mix, but also grass. You don't really see it all that often. And at the time, you didn't see sugar all that much either. Keep in mind, this was years ago. Sweet fragrances for men weren't the norm like it is now. And so it definitely stood out. I wanted to get it. Of course, it was getting hyped up as well. I had to try it. And I actually bought CH Men Privé first. So I got this one in, and man, definitely lived up to the hype. And it really does have this grassy green opening, this nice sugary sweetness, and then a relatively mild, but still very present leather note, which smells amazing. Kind of a very diluted, designer level leather in the sense that it's not animalic or earthy or too strong or anything like that. Not even what I would consider to smell like a leather jacket, like you heard people describe CH Men Privé and John Varvatos Dark Rebel and things like that. But this one really does stand out. Did at that point and still does. There isn't a whole lot out there that really does what this one does. Now, this is an old bottle, red ribbon, all that good stuff. The new bottles are a little bit different, but essentially the liquid itself, the smell remains the same. You can see this one has a little bit of a dent. I have another one that's down to here. And then I actually still have, at least I did at one point, a few full bottles of 50 ml red ribbons that I stocked up on years ago. Love this stuff. Still reach for it quite often. More so in the beginning parts of spring when it's still kind of cold out, but starting to warm up a little bit. Okay, I literally just wore this one 2 days ago. It was Chanel Allure Homme Sport Eau Extreme. This is my Eau de Toilette Intense Concentré. Kind of cool. Another one that I just collected several of. So they started off as an Eau de Toilette Concentré. They moved them all over to Eau de Parfums after some time. And actually, when I wore this a couple days ago, I also did 1 or 2 sprays of Allure Homme Sport alongside of it. I always like to layer them together. Oftentimes it's because it's kind of hard for me to choose which one I want to wear. If I'm in an Allure Homme Sport mood, usually I'm just layering them both because, again, I can't make up my mind a lot of the times and never can go wrong with that layering combination. It's got the tonka, it's got the mint, has a little bit of that freshness, that C note freshness that you get in the Sport, but this one is just much more powdery and a little bit more creamy and sweet. But make no mistake, you still get that nice bright mint off the opening, and that mint is still pretty pronounced, even in these old bottles, these really old, I don't even know what year, is it 2015, I guess? 5010 is the 4-digit batch. I would guess that would be 2015. You know, it's got 10 years on it now. Man, that mint is still fresh and vibrant off the opening. And one thing I noticed actually, comparing these older ones to the new EDPs, is the mint is more pronounced in these older bottles, which is kind of the opposite of what I was expecting given the age, but that's kind of how they opened up. A little bit more of a strong mint in these older ones. But I digress. Allure Homme Sport Extreme, still one that I reach for all the time. Just wore it a couple days ago. It's so basic, right? And it feels stupid to reach for something like this, but I enjoy it. I really thoroughly enjoy this fragrance so much, and it makes me happy to wear it, and so I will continue to. Same thing with something like Eau de Parfum Intense. I'm telling you guys, I am really not hard to please when it comes to fragrances. You know, it doesn't take a whole lot for me. I like stuff like this. The Eau de Parfum Intense in particular, taking away that sweet apple from the Eau de Parfum, bumping up the sage, bumping up the geranium and the lavender and the amberwood. Now, all of those notes there were pre-existing. It's just that without the apple accord, that sweet apple in the Eau de Parfum, those notes come to the surface even more, and therefore they kind of by default take the center stage, because in the Eau de Parfum, that sweet apple accord was the star of the show. It was very pronounced, and because it was kind of sweet, it could make it a little bit more tricky to pull that off comfortably when it was really hot, like in the dog days of summer. I'm talking July, August, humidity. I'm not reaching for Eau de Parfum. However, actually, I would still wear this Eau de Parfum Intense, and it didn't bother me at all. Whereas the Eau de Parfum in that type of heat would start to get on my nerves. And because of the changes that they made with this Eau de Parfum Intense, it actually makes it a little bit more mature, a little bit more refined, even a little bit more sophisticated. Now, it's still a Y scent. It's still within that designer line that is prioritizing mass appeal, compliments, versatility, and performance, right? So it's probably going to more so appeal to the younger crowd overall. However, I think that more people would end up liking this. If you didn't like the Eau de Parfum for the reasons that I listed off, you would probably more be likely to like this one instead. Right around $90 to $100 on discount, or somewhere around in that range, is where you can expect to pay for this one. Very reasonable, and my go-to Y fragrance these days, and I still wear it a ton. This next one is Hugo Boss Bottled Absolute. Kind of smells like niche, to be honest with you guys, and maybe, you know, that's why I like it. Maybe that's why so many people like it. it has this niche personality, but yet still designer level enough where it's not to the point that it's now all of a sudden kind of hard to wear and pull off because it's very specific, or it's kind of daring in a way that maybe some people won't like it and you would feel apprehensive to wear it. Nothing like that. It still does have a designer type of feel, but yet still kind of niche inspired is how I would describe it. I don't know, that's just kind of what I feel. This one has incense, myrrh, leather, patchouli, cedarwood. If that note breakdown doesn't sell you on this, I don't know what does, because that is just perfection to me. Smokes, woods, and a little bit of a resinous sweetness essentially is what that tells you, and that's also what you get out of this one, and it's apparent from start to complete finish in the dry down. Boss Bottled Elixir is really good stuff as well. Follows a similar blueprint, but this one's a little bit more rich, even a little bit more intense or extreme. You would kind of expect that. Usually looking to pay around $95 to $100 for this one on discounters. Retail price I believe is $140. So nice little savings there. Save about $50 off of retail if you're lucky, 45 or so. And honestly, at $140, that's not unreasonable for how good this one is. It's a Hugo Boss, and they're maybe not quite as top tier or premium or high end is like your Chanel's, Dior's, Armani's, and so on. But I'll tell you, with this Boss Bottled Absolute and Boss Bottled Elixir, that really gives the mothers kind of a run for their money. I love wearing this one. I've had this stuff here forever, and year over year, winter over winter, I have worn it consistently. It is Spicebomb Extreme by Victor and Rolf. It's all about the tobacco, the black pepper, and the vanilla. It smells great. So kind of essentially embodying that original Spicebomb EDT smell and just making it more mature. And I've described it this way ad nauseum, but I'll say it one more time. This won't be the last time, but I'll make it quick. You wear Spicebomb EDT in college when you're in your 30s and your family is you have a family and a wife and kids and stuff. Now you're wearing Spicebomb Extreme. It's simple, Spicebomb EDT, more young, more playful smelling. This is a little bit more grown up and just more mature. It smells like Christmas. It literally smells like basically from, I don't know, Thanksgiving to Christmas or Thanksgiving to New Year's. That's what this smells like to me. Just those holidays in between. You've got Thanksgiving, you have Christmas, Christmas Eve, all that, and then New Year's party, right? That is the time of year where I wear this the most because it smells like those holidays that are all very close together, that are happening quick. And then you get into, into January, February, and it's just cold and miserable out. At that point, I'm wearing some other stuff, but man, I love wearing Spicebomb Extreme right around that time of year. I forgot how good this one is up until a couple months ago. It is Ralph's Club Elixir. I rediscovered it, essentially. I don't know, kind of forgot about it a little bit and then happened to pick it up and spray it again, and I was actually kind of confused. I was thinking, this smells way better than I remember it. Has iris, leather, olibanum, geranium, sage, and cardamom. Quite the note breakdown there. And you get all of those. And I guess kind of forgot about that. I was used to the original Ralph's Club EDP and even the Parfum, which both of those are good, nothing wrong with them. But you get that cardamom spice. You get some of that iris sweetness, more of that woodiness. It does take a big turn away from that fresher, sage, lavender-driven Ralph's Club EDP, which kind of puts you in that somewhat Y eau de parfum type of styling, just the aromatic focus with ambergris or amberwood or amber, whichever variety you want to call it. This one takes a big step away from that, and again, it's really, really good. Surprising. I mean, to the point where if you don't like the eau de parfum, there's a good chance you would like this because there is a lot more going on. And again, ever since I kind of made that realization again, I smelled it, I've been wearing it a lot more. Really, really enjoyable stuff with great performance. And we're gonna finish it off with Acqua di Gio Parfum. Took this one on vacation with me. My other bottle's still packed in the suitcase, I guess, I hope, because I haven't seen it yet. So this is it's the 125 ml. I can't remember, I think so they switched over to the 100 mLs now with the cap, magnetic cap. They did these 125s for a brief time with a click cap. I believe that's what happened. And who knows, maybe you could still get both versions right now on discounters. In fact, you probably can. FragranceNet, Joma Shop, I think they still stock both the 125 and the 100. Take your pick. It's kind of a catch-22 for some because it's like, do I want to get 25 milliliters extra, or do I want to get, 25 milliliters less, but get a magnetic cap? I guess it depends on what the price point difference is between the two, whether it's going to make sense or not in terms of price per milliliter. But for me, I'd almost take the magnetic cap, honestly. It sounds stupid, but I have so much of everything anyway that the extra 25 milliliters probably isn't needed. But that's your decision to make. It's Acqua di Gio Profumo rebottled, essentially. Minor differences, not enough to make it worthwhile hunting down Profumo. Alrighty guys, that's gonna do it for me. I have niche fragrances, I love them. Some of my favorites are still niche, but when I really actually pay attention to what I'm wearing on a day-to-day basis, it is mostly designers, and these are some of the ones I've been reaching for here lately. I will drop links to everything down below. Also, there are some coupon codes you can use as well. If you shop at Perfume Box, you can use code CHAOS10 for 10% off. If you shop at Twisted Lily, great spot for a bunch of niche and indie, CHAOS10 for 10% off. Venba Fragrance, if you spend $500 or more, you can take 5% off with code CHAOS5. Make sure you do some shopping using those codes. Again, links to everything I talked about are going to be put down there. Make it easy. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.